We send out 200 of these shirts to our top 200 ASI clients. The whole point of it is to show as many creative printing techniques as we can. We're using chino, reflective ink, jumbo print, puff, print off the bottom, sponge, and embroidery, all in one print. Both to show our clients what we can do, but also to educate them on what they can sell and everything you can do in the world of decorated apparel.
In this episode of Adventures in Apparel Decorating, we're back in the Windy City, Chicago, Illinois, to learn how Sharprint makes creating custom apparel a breeze for their clients. At Sharprint, customizing apparel and accessories is what they do. This family-run business began in a basement and has grown into a 40,000 square foot facility, specializing in screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing for businesses of all sizes. It's a true Cinderella story. In this episode, we'll explore how they use techniques like all-over prints, which include multiple printing processes combined to give their clients unlimited creativity and customization in t-shirt design. Let's head inside and learn how this father and son duo always puts their customers first. So I'm with George Killian, who's the owner-founder here at Sharprint. So George, tell us about starting this company way back when.
First of all, welcome.
Hey, thanks.
Appreciate you being here. We're all big fans of following your blogs and your videos and whatnot, so it's an honor to have you here.
Oh, well, it's my pleasure. It's great to be here.
I have the typical story. I was in a band. We needed t-shirts in the band house. I set up a little t-shirt shop. Now, this is in the beginning of the 80s. So there was no internet, in order to learn how to screen print, I had to go to the library. So in my basement, I set up this wooden press and I had heat lamps all lined up, and I would put the shirts on and then slowly move them to cure them, and I was getting burns on top of my hands and whatnot. That's how it started. And more band friends, other bands wanted t-shirts, nightclubs we were playing wanted t-shirts. And then after a few years, I was like, oh, I might actually be able to make some money on this.
Now, you guys have built up for years and years and years, right? And you serve mostly people in the promo industry.
Yes, that's our biggest industry right now. Most of the shirts that come in here are provided by our customers, which means we're only making money on the print, which requires an incredible amount of discipline. Working with that industry, it's a lot of people who don't know anything about apparel, anything about decorating, and I feel that it's our job to kind of show them what the decorating world is all about, especially nowadays with so many different fabrics out there and so many different printing techniques.
And you do that with education kits, like you'll print a bunch of samples and you send them to your top clients so everybody can see this is what discharge is and this is what high density is, or metallic or reflective, that type of stuff, right?
We like our PPDs, promotional product distributors. We want them to look like superstars. They're walking in with a high density or with puffs or reflectives or UV inks and whatnot, and makes them look good. Like, at least they're showing something new instead of just your standard prints.
One of the things I think is unique here is that you've got your kids involved in your business.
Jack, who's playing a major role in the company right now, he was here in high school, making them come in and start sweeping the floors, and then working on press with these guys, no special treatment. Over the years, just like any high schoolers, they didn't want to come in. Eventually, Jack, it was like all of a sudden like a light switch went off with him, and he was like, oh my gosh, this is kind of cool. And then that was it. He just kind of took off. He would come up with different ideas. 90% of the time, the ideas were great. They were different. It was a refreshing approach. We've always been a quality shop. It's all about coming up with a great product and keeping it interesting, coming up with different techniques and whatnot.
So I'm with Jack Killian, who is the Vice President here at Sharprint. So Jack, tell us about what it's like to grow up in the business.
When I started working here as a kid, I was, cleaning screens, helping on press, which is really hard work, but it really teaches you the basics of this business, at a really early age. So from age 14 to, about 20, I really just did everything in this building. I liked printing. I didn't love cleaning screens. I didn't love getting here at 7 in the morning. That wasn't ideal, especially at like 15.
Don't.
No, still don't, but it was way more brutal when you had to wake up and immediately start printing or get presses or get stuff on press. Once I kind of worked my way up into the front office and I started doing sales, I realized, immediately that I had a knack for sales. When I was about 20 years old, I brought in one of my first major accounts, and I just remember the adrenaline from getting that first account. When I started selling, I really started to really gain the passion of, team building and bringing on new clients, and that excitement really got me going.
So have you had an idea that you brought to the company that your dad would never do?
I think a lot of it was more so kind of the client base that we were going after. A big portion of my first book of business when I started was working with a lot of, local rap artists or, music festivals in the rap space, which I don't think my father would have looked at, it would be nothing that he would ever go after himself. But it turned out to be really successful. We do a couple $1 million in that space right now. So I think that's probably the number one thing that he would have never touched that I came in and helped facilitate.
You guys send out sample boxes to help educate your clients. What typically you're putting in those?
Majority of our business is in the promotional products world. And the big thing with us is trying to educate our clients on everything in the world of decorated apparel, which a lot of people in the promo world don't know about. So what we always try to do is take all the creative specialty techniques that have been in the industry for a long time and everything that's new to the industry, and we try to shove it all in one package. So, one shirt might be a high density print, one shirt might just be a basic puff, another one, a reflective and all over print. So we try to fit as many creative specialty techniques as we can, both to, show our clients what we can do, but also to educate them and show their clientele and what they can sell and everything you can do in the world of decorated apparel. We'll do free virtuals for our clients. So they'll send us the assets from their clientele, the logos, and what we'll do is we'll put, basic mock-ups together using all these specialty techniques, where we'll put, a reference photo next to it so they can kind of get a general idea of how to pitch that to their client and just try to pitch them into something different. And the one thing that I say is that, even if you're not going to do something different or you don't think your client will bite on that, even the fact that you just show that you can do something different will put you ahead of your competition.
So Jack, what are we going to see today?
We're really excited about this shirt. We send out 200 of these shirts to our top 200 ASI clients. The whole point of it is to show as many creative printing techniques as we can. So in this shirt, we're using chino, reflective ink, jumbo print, puff, print off the bottom, sponge, and embroidery, all in one print. We're also doing a custom belly band with custom branding.
Let's take a look.
All right.
I'm with Carlos Ballesteros.
Yes, sir. You got it right. You got it right. You got it right.
So
You got it perfect.
Carlos, how long you worked here, man?
2010, started working with Sharprint. Beautiful place, Chicago.
Right.
Home. When we have mixed media, it's a big thing. You gotta get production enough time to do all this stuff.
Like the crazy job we're doing today.
It's super crazy.
It's got so many decorations on it, right? So walk us through what we're going to see.
Oh, this is awesome, guys. We have a big side print on the bottom of this thing.
Right.
It's a chino base, so we want to keep them nice and soft, even though the print is 27 inch. It's this big.
It's gigantic.
It's gigantic. But by using chino base inks, you get the soft, even though it looks huge.
Right.
Touch it and don't feel anything. On top of that, we're hitting it with a reflected gray, black.
Right.
It's amazing. Water-based, lines of the city.
Right.
We're in Logan Square area, so that's the grid of the city. It looks great. You'll see it. We're hitting it with a dino on top instead of under bases, just to black the lines of the reflected.
Yeah. Right.
We got motor opacity using dino with a soft squeeze. Unfortunately, we have to use a double stroke on it.
Right.
We're staying away as much as we can, from double stroking. That's been the past. But there's times with high density, puff, glitters, that you just can't get away.
Right.
As much as you try. I mean, you can use two screens to match, change squeeze, but half the time you have to double stroke.
So what are we printing on?
We are using 570 MR. It's real soft. It works perfect with this design. The fabric's so soft.
Smooth,
it's
right?
Smooth.
Yeah.
You got a smooth surface. The print can be huge. We can go in the sleeves and seams. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Perfect flat. I love it.
So what do you say we go and check out the print?
Absolutely. We're running. We're running. On this particular big jumbo print, we call it, it's not oversized because it's jumbo. It's 27 by 16 on the Y end, on the bottom part. We had to use this 24-inch wide palette, 24 by 52. That's the size of the big palette that we gotta use on this. We're using a 180 42 by 30 screens that is working as a background on a chino soft ink gray. It gives it like a stone kind of look. And as you can see, the half tones on it, nice and clean. So that's what we're using on the bottom of this print. And then we come in on top without using any flash, just to take any excess ink on it. Like for example here, you're gonna have a little buildup where the squeeze, the flubber hits. But this is what we're using this screen on, right on top of it. So on the second screen, we're using a 160 mesh with a black water-based reflected ink. Real cool look when you hit it with a flashlight, or you're driving in a bike, or you're walking on the streets and car hits it. So we're using a flash right up to this one. We're running a puff ink on this print as well. We're running on a 110 mesh, double stroking it, of course, to get a little more build-up. We're using a 200 micron fat film to get more density on it. We're using Dino Gray, and the reason why is to avoid hitting the shirt twice. Having it to use twice, we double stroke this, it will block the lines, and we can hit everything on one shot, the whole print. The underground, the reflected, using 3 flashes, that's the key of it. The less you touch the shirt, the better. Every time you print twice, you double the risk of misprints, double the risk of, everything. So by doing it at once, we get better results. It looks great. It's all designed to work that way with the print.
I'm with Jason McQuillan, who's the embroidery production manager. Let's talk about the job we're doing today. And screen printing has already printed the shirts, so we have to schedule this type of job. So how do you do that to ensure things go out on time?
We're going to be decorating on the left sleeve of the t-shirt here. The screen printing part of the process is a little bit quicker, and they can run everything all at once, where we're limited to the amount of heads we have on the machine. Generally, we let them take care of their part first and then send it over to us, and we work on it, and we'll send it over to post-production to be shipped out. Depending on how high of a priority the job is, we could be running 4 to 8 machines with the same order.
How do you guys ensure quality here in embroidery?
We look at the strike off of every run and approve it, and then periodically go machine to machine and ensure that every operator is following in accordance to that strike off.
You guys do your own digitizing?
We have an in-house digitizer, Biana, and she's wonderful. She takes care of everything that you would need, but also if you would like to send in your own sew files, we can handle that too.
Yeah, so after we're done here in embroidery, what's the next step, Jason?
We're sending it over to our finishing team, and they will be applying belly bands to the shirts and shipping them out.
So George, Jack, what a fantastic day we had. We learned so much, especially with this crazy print.
The 570 MR is the perfect shirt to print on, especially for the water basings that we used. It came out fantastic, and we couldn't ask for a better garment.
So my favorite part is the sponge puff for these birds. It's got this crazy, sticky, silicone-y feel to it. It's just amazing. What about yours?
My favorite has got to be the reflective all over print. I think that's so unique, and you really don't see that much in the industry, so I love that. I think it's such a cool look.
What about you, George?
Same thing. I love all over prints, and then when you add the specialty reflective, adds a little something special.
Thank you so much for everything you've done for us today. We really learned a lot.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks, George.
You guys came in.